All right, back again on F1 Manager. Haas F1 team coming off of a dominant 1-2 performance out in Spain. We head now to the jewel of the F1 calendar, the Monaco Grand Prix, and we'll start actually with Pierre having a development point, and we are going to be putting it purely into pace. I think for whatever reason, reactions is not a stat that is thought about enough, and so we are just going to be we're going to be bumping these up a little bit. Theo, we're just going to give whatever, any staff dev points, no. Pit crew, our tire changes are up to an 83. Love to see it. We just did that. Congratulations on the win. I mean, if the board confidence isn't literally as high as it possibly could be, then I don't know what this board is looking at. We do have $31 million, so I will be spending $3 million to refurb the team hub. Any other stuff that we could do? The factory is ongoing. I think we could do we can do the wind tunnel. We have just enough money. All right, we're gonna upgrade our wind tunnel for $27 million. We're gonna have to up our sponsorship game because our monthly upkeep is going to be tremendous. The tax man been watching like, hey yo, where'd you get all this money, fam? And we're gonna have to look around and go, wow. That said, I think we can definitely, I'm gonna do 2 in the top 3 just because you never know. Like, we are flying, but at the same time, you just never know. What do we have going on in projects? We have a bunch of stuff still ongoing that are actually is pretty nicely staggered, if I do say so myself. To the race weekend here in Monte Carlo. Here we go. Middle of the pack. We will hop on board with young Lando on this one. As we come around Rascast, the sun cresting over the hills as Lando begins his final qualifying lap here in Monaco, up the hill towards Casino Square. The other Haas driver, GASLY, just behind, getting a bit of a tow from, who is that? The Williams just ahead. Hopefully we don't run into traffic when it comes to this, but Lando does improve, GASLY does not. That's a bit of a shame. The Williams might give us a bit more traffic than we were initially anticipating, but at the same time, it is Monaco. It's a short lap. Up to Rascas, he goes purple, middle sector, Lando Norris to the line. Oh, 300ths of a second between Lando Norris and pole position. You have to wonder if the Williams got in the way just a little too much for the young Brit to put it on pole, and Pierre Gasly, who did not top a session up until then, puts it on pole position. But it is indeed a Haas front row lockout here in Monaco, which is pretty much exactly where you want to be if you're us. Here we go. One stop for both. Lando gets the mediums. Pierre got pole, so he gets the softs. We have Lando will have the advantage if there is a late safety car, as he will have the fresh set of softs remaining. Pierre will just have to do the best we can. And let's get it. Monaco up right now.
The drivers have now taken position on the grid.
The drivers have taken their position. 78 laps of Monaco. You ready to watch it all at one time speed?
We have Pierre Gasly. They're starting today at the head of the pack. It's time for one of the most exciting races in the world. This is the Monaco Grand Prix.
To 5 red lights.
And it's
lights out, and away we go. A good start for Pierre. A very processional start towards turn 1 incoming. Gasly will and should probably just kind of walk away from everyone. A good mix of mediums and softs in the top 8. Yuki Tsunoda starting on the hards down there in P10, trying to play a little bit of a track position here in Monaco. That said, it's going to be very, very tight. Verstappen already lost 1.5 seconds to young Lando, and this could be a very processional race for the Haas F1 team. Going to be fascinating to see how this goes. All right, we've pulled 2 seconds on Verstappen. We will drop their ERS. And honestly, I might save fuel now. Once it gets to like half a kilo, we might bump them back down to standard. We don't need to push unless absolutely necessary. Wow, the gap already. Ocon hounding Verstappen, slowing down the Red Bull driver just a smidge if I had to guess. Bottas also with a good qualifying starting there in P5. DRS is enabled. The one DRS zone here being the start finish straight, going to be very interesting to say the least. Spencer, what's your ultimate goal for the series? Shumi, Bros World Drivers Champion. So my goal for the series started at just, you know, winning a drivers, winning a constructors championship, and then I think also it's kind of turned into a storyline based series where it's like I'm just envisioning like 3 months from now when we're potentially like into season 6 or 7. It's just like an F1 manager series that's gone 100+ episodes. I love that. We might hit a point at the end of the season where we start speed running a little more of the races, and to just try and get out to the point where it just gets a little weird. Nico Kara World Drivers Championship, maybe. I do want to give Mick a Drivers Championship. I think that would be pretty fun. So maybe in a couple seasons we might bring him back and see if he can challenge probably Lando for a Drivers title. We'll have to see though. That's kind of the goal. I mean, the original goal was kind of take it semi-realistically, see if we can get a drivers and a constructors championship. You'd love for it to have Mick and David as their lineup in the future once the car is good enough. Yeah, we could definitely probably do that. I think my overall vision for the series is pretty much just have fun with it. Apparently there's just like not a player base for this right now, and so I love the idea of being like one of the longest running series on YouTube for an F1 game. So I'm sure we'll probably get to that point where we just start doing some absolutely wild stuff. Also, Pierre has pulled a 2-second gap to Lando, and Lando now has a 5-second gap to Ocon. So basically what we're saying is this race is already over, and we're going to be celebrating like kings tonight. The record season number on YouTube is 28 seasons. Yeah, but they were like speed running it from the jump. I want to do a series like that when the next game comes out. It's definitely fascinating. To be honest, my series probably won't be that long or that far into the future, but you know, just a consistent running on YouTube, I guess, is kind of what I was going for. Also, Ocon gets around Verstappen, by the way. We kind of missed that a handful of laps ago, and British is in the mud because now Ocon is on the podium here in Monaco. Got to 2039 and got bored. Yeah. I think the biggest problem with this game, like the longevity of it, is that the driver development is so slow. Like if the young drivers were able to develop a lot faster, I think it makes a lot more sense. But it's just like you only get so many like development points, even as a driver on like maximum like growth potential, that it just they don't become the best drivers, you know. It's almost like it's just more advantageous to keep the starting drivers as long as possible, basically. Wait till you see his points. Oh yeah, we got the booby points. All right, where are we at? How we doing? How we feeling? Oh, so we bumped Gasly down to light tires. We're gonna try and build a. We're gonna try not to dip this far into. We're gonna try not to dip below 30% if we can help it. By the time the real F1 drivers retire, they'll be the best. They're still the best. Yeah, exactly. That's the biggest problem. It's like the young drivers just don't develop fast enough to challenge for race seats, which, you know, might be a thing that we've seen a little bit in real life, but at the same time, it's not like the young guys are like plebs by the time they're like should be considered for an F1 seat. Also, our tire advantage for Pierre on the softs is like so superior to literally everyone else. All right, we're gonna speed this up a little bit. It's Monaco. We've all seen Monaco. At Lando, we are gonna push fuel again. I'm gonna try and extend that 6-second gap out as long as we possibly can. For Pierre, we'll leave it alone. I mean, Ocon having to battle Verstappen is just allowing us to literally drive off into the distance. Literally. Alright, at 2, we'll bump it back down. We extended it about 2 seconds on that push stint. So that says a lot, probably. My goodness, our car is so good. I will bump Pierre back down to standard. I think that's a good enough. Where is it? That should get closer. We can also bump it back down when it does get closer. Wow, a 10-second gap behind to Ocon. That 10-second gap might legitimately reach 12 plus seconds. You also found the best way into cheesing the lower team's AI is hiring top tier. Oh yeah, no, 100%. The driver makes the car more than the car makes the driver, I think, in terms of this game. That's why I think Mick, I think the biggest example of that is Mick last season on here, where he was in a good car, but he wasn't putting in the kind of performances that Pierre was, like, across the whole season. Like, it's definitely the driver makes the car more than the car can make a driver, which, you know, isn't that unrealistic, but at the same time, it's also a little unrealistic to go too far the other way. So now Williams is a top 3 team and you're saving, and Red Bull's officially died. Hey, that sounds like the other YouTube series I'm doing right now, Red Bull to the Mud. It's pretty good, pretty big fan of it, actually. It's a fun one. All right, Pierre is... You've entered Pierre's pit window. I might legitimately just bump him up to aggressive and see. I just want to see this gap get pushed out as far as possible. We're flying. He has a 22, 20, almost 23-second gap ahead or behind. We will not have Haas slander here, but welcome to Hey Natural Lando and Pierre and the Haas. Yes, sir. We had Pierre's gonna stall it. Let me do this real quick. Yes, box to hards, go. We had Pierre run away with the drivers' championship last year, and so we let Mick go to bring in Lando to try and battle for the title this year at the top, because our car is still really good. Not as cursed as Charles and Arthur in the Haas. Probably true. You know, we've kept an eye on the young Monegasque man, but he signed a new contract with Red Bull right before we wanted to get him, so he is now gone from us. Also, Pierre caught up to the back markers and pit just now. Perfect timing, by the way. We'll definitely be able to run away with it. VSC? Who done it? Who done it? It wasn't Pierre. It wasn't Lando. That's all I care about. Who was it? Who ruined it for us?
I think that was a crash.
It is.
Here's
Checo
the replay.
in the
Now
mud.
Just take a look at the McLaren.
It's not gonna be any better game. No box. No box. already too late. Boxing should have been the move. You're right. It would have been the right move. We'll see how long. No, you're right. We box. We box. We box. We box. We box. Hey, language yourself, huh? Language, please. There are children present. Me, I'm the child. All right, the VSC is still out, so we box for free. We're good. We're fine. Yes, I know but I'm still baby though, so relax. All right, so we accidentally left Pierre on push for a little too long, so we're gonna. All right, safety car ending soon. Back to standard. Lando can push fuel because he's got so much of it. VSC ending. VSC ending. We are, my goodness, 23.5 seconds ahead. Pierre is almost 30 seconds ahead of Verstappen. What kind of world are we living in? Flying. Everybody on the hards, except for those who started on the hards. All right, back to speed. Gasly's about to lap Van Dorn and Stroll. Yeah, time to lap a lot. Yeah, we're gonna speed this one up. The only thing that's gonna save us from a nice boring finish to this race is a late safety car and, you know, spice this thing up. But realistically, this is kind of what we were expecting down the stretch of the season. That's a new fastest lap for one Lando. Honestly, if we build a big enough gap, we might box one for like an Uber lap later. We're flying though. Bump back down. He does. Yeah, he also has a. Oh, actually, no, it would be Lando because Lando started on the mediums. I think you should do true. We're a little too heavy on electricity. A little too heavy on electricity. Please use some. We're wasting energy here, gentlemen. We're wasting energy. Please continue to use. Thank you. Thank you. On both. We're wasting electricity. We're bouncing off 100. That means we're wasting potential. You just. Alright, be honest with me. Was this just so Lando can try and catch Pierre? Was that the entire point of that? Because you did bring attention to me that we were wasting electricity. But be honest with me. Are you just trying to get Lando to catch up to Pierre? I want my lawyer. All right, that answers all questions we had. Thank you, Your Honor. All right, we need. Wow, I think even Lando has a full pit stop gap here. Only 22. Pit lane. Where's pit lane? Pit lane, one of these. Green flag, pit lane, 20 seconds. I mean, we could box both of them for fresh sauce if we want. Not fresh, but new sauce. Not new. Used sauce if we wanted to. Because Lando has a 28-second gap. Pierre has obviously a 31-second gap. We're quite literally driving away with this one. Dude, Space Nerd, get on the level. Dude, Williams is actually pretty good. The Sonoda train is in full effect, by the way. Look at this. We're literally gonna lap through P7 just because all these people are gonna have to get out of the way. Doing P11. He is firmly in the middle of this train right now. But the Williams is not actually that bad in the save currently. Duin is successfully where did Yuki, didn't Yuki get P5 in Bahrain at the beginning of this season? I feel like, yeah, because it was that wild race with the red flag and like the crazy top 10. And yeah, Yuki ended up getting like 5th. Giovinazzi got 7th. It was a crazy race. It was a wild race to say the least. Let's see, we have successfully lapped through P7, and we are now on the hunt for Checo, who's in an entire sector by himself most of the time. You have Bottas and Williams in your save, and he is carrying hard. Dude, Bottas is kind of OP in this game, I'm not gonna lie. I saw a lot of people going for him in the beginning. Yeah, he does just carry 100%. I mean, we're still just flying, by the way. You've also seen K-Mag single-handedly get cost at P6 in the constructors. Kevin was an interesting is an interesting topic when it comes to our version of the F1 universe. He's a great lad, but becomes very expensive. True. Yeah, K-Mag does not do that in this save. Let's we'll just leave it at that. K-Mag had a rough finish to his career at Haas in this save. We'll say that. He had opportunities to save himself, but just did himself no favors in Brazil or Abu Dhabi. We'll leave it at that. We're not even worried about it, and we'll just continue on. Also, we're literally under 0 threat, so we're just gonna 16 times this and move on with our lives. He's like, yeah, there was a lot of discussion about the differences between I and British as team managers, and how we are running our alternate F1 universes. We are actually flying. The Russell train is in full effect. Ferrari in the mud. Doing just outside points. We might hop on board with Doohan on the last couple of laps. He found new ways to lose points in his P4 car pace, but then he got P2 in Canada and he clicked on, hey, you know, sometimes that's all it takes. That's what saved Mick more than a few times in the first couple of seasons, because we really had to have some debate on whether or not we wanted to keep Mick. And down the stretch of this every season, he did just enough to kind of save himself. All right, we'll hop on board with Doohan because he's just outside the points, and we've kind of literally separated ourselves by. We're about to lap. Am I saying that right? We're about to lap the Aston Martins again, ish, kinda. You're yet to see what he does in the alpha when I finally install the game again. Yeah, that's true. I had the debate. I debated everyone in chat. Everyone in chat was very firm that they believed Mick should go, but I let my emotions get the better of me. What could Verstappen do in that Williams? That's a great question. As the last lap for everyone, Doohan has this lap to get by Sainz, who's battling Russell. So I think Doohan, unfortunately, is going to fall just outside the points, finishing in P9. Yeah, Yuki was one of the few who started on hards, and so he had to box for his next set of tires and put him down there in P15. Oh, hey, Pierre won, guys. Hey, guys, our drivers went 1-2, and we're watching a Williams.
And it's GASLY.
We'll watch it. I know, I do too.
We can take a look now. It's first place for
Pierre Gasly. I'm pretty sure he's won Monaco like 3 seasons in a row now.
There'll be celebrations tonight after a performance like that. They've done themselves and the team proud.
Oh. Lando also on the podium. Who got P3? I literally didn't check. I think it was Verstappen, right? It will be. Verstappen is not finished yet, but it will be. Literally could have crashed into a wall in the last corner and stole a get. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he could limp over the finish line. Everyone else is gonna finish. Max 30 something odd seconds later is gonna come home and finish P2. British is saved an Esteban Ocon podium as they finish P4 and P5 respectively, but we started in a front row lockout, we finished on a podium lockout, and you know, that's that. It really that really helps to start on the front row and have the pace to literally drive away from the rest of the field. as I believe it was all the way up through P7 that they all finished a lap down.
Well, this weekend, Pierre Gasly flew us to the stars.
Guys, he's flown us to the stars a lot in this series, let's be honest. He won a lot of races last year.
This podium is a true recognition of everyone who's been working.
You know, I'm just gonna say it. So far, 7 rounds through this series, and Lando hasn't put up as much of a fight as I was kind of expecting him to. Yeah, exactly. Lando has not put up his best form so far.
The Frenchman was
I don't know what it is. Maybe Pierre is just benefiting from the tutelage of the Haas F1 team. You know, this is his 3rd season in the car and getting developed by the best F1 team in the country, in the world. So, like an 8-time champion, you say, but he was very, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, we'll tootle him up. We'll tootle him up a little bit. He is pretty OP in race pace. Let's go, new fans.
The team ends in first place.
What do you mean ends? We've been in first place in the constructors. We've been first in the constructors. There's been no real change about that. Look at that. Only the top 6 finished the full 78 laps. Everyone else only did 77. The Aston Martins were pretty close to only finishing 76. Lando still does hold the top spot in the driver standings, but only by an singular point. Lando has 2 wins and 6 podiums with 1 fastest lap. Pierre has 3 wins, 5 podiums, and 2 fastest laps. And they each have 3 pole positions. Actually, okay, it's a little closer than we think. Pierre only has 1 more win, so I guess technically they were actually tied on wins going into this one, and also tied on fastest laps. All right, fair enough. I know fastest lap is useless, but it's a fun stat. It's a fun stat. We are 45 points ahead of Red Bull in the constructors. Do we want to start taking bets on how quickly Haas is going to wrap up the constructors standings? Because we are well on our way already to dominating this. No, we have the worst system for points, which is no fastest lap, no pole position, no double points last race, and the old only top 8 score points. That's it. That's what we got. Those are the points that we're currently rocking. I'm hoping that we'll get the updated, we'll get some of it back after during this season, but we'll have to we'll see. We'll figure it out. But Lando gets a dev point. Love to see it. 1.1 goes out. 3.899 million comes in. Easy. And yeah, it's on to Azerbaijan next.